Hey guys, it's Wahima.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which of course can be peppery, can be salty, can be bitter, can be spicy, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. We are here talking about the Netflix docu-series Sins of Our Mother. It's called Sins of Our Mother, even though I said last episode it was Sins of the Mother. It's Sins of Our Mother. And we have some mothers that are sinners, so we understand. Episode 2, Dark Spirits.
Dark spirits. It was so ominous. We talk
Mhm.
a lot about dark spirits though in this episode. So for you guys who are just joining in out of the blue, you should go back and watch episode 1 where we do a interview with Kate Casey from Reality Life with Kate Casey. She has a podcast anywhere you can find podcasts, and she put us on to this amazing Netflix documentary that we just named. And she does something every week where she tells us what to watch, and for the most part, we watch it and then we talk about it here. So she's like our little sponsor.
She's like the modern day like TV guide. You know, like her Instagram is like that kind of thing. It's great. So let's get into what just happened. If you would just it was the oh shit moment, just so you know, is that off episode 1, we realized that Alex, who is Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, was confronted with Charles when he went to go pick up his son JJ from Lori Vallow's house, and for some reason Alex, who's Lori's brother, just happened to spend the night there and just happened to be there. And so it was him, Lori was there, JJ was there, and then
the daughter
Tylee was there. And so Charles happens upon, and we know Charles to be like her 5th husband, and he's like arguably the hottest one, God bless. And he was the richest one by far, so I don't know what her problem was, but anyway, God bless. Is that he gets shot, my love. And when the 911 call dispatcher gets this phone call from an Alex is like, yeah, I shot him. I mean, he came out with me at a bat, so it's self-defense. And the dispatcher's like, okay, well, have you tried any CPR? And he's like, not necessarily know how to do that. And the dispatcher's like, well, I could also just like tell you how to do it. You could also try to save this person's life that you killed. And he was like, oh yeah, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, tell me how to do it. You know? The dispatcher's like, push on his chest. He's like, tell me more. Yeah, you're pushing on the chest.
If you guys are watching this on our Patreon at DocuSweeties on Patreon, you would see that Chris is like smoking a fake cigarette while pretending to do CPR. So we then start to realize that the police are incompetent, as we said last episode. They have a conversation with the family, the Alex Cox and Lori Vallow and Lori's daughter Tylee, and all the stories seem to kind of make sense, but it's almost like Lori's telling the story as though like it happened to her a long time ago. Like she's like reiterating the story as though like her husband didn't just get shot by her brother. It's very like, yeah, happenstance. So he got there, he was yelling. I was like, I gotta protect the children. I don't really remember what happened. So I left, and then I went to Burger King, dropped the one kid off at school, stopped at CVS and got some flip-flops, and I came home and you guys were here. So
yeah, and like the neighbors are gonna think I'm crazy because I just moved in. Like, look, all this shit that's happening. Doesn't even ask if her husband's dead
or okay or anything like that.
Or alive, or still walking this earth, does not give an F. And she doesn't even think it's her husband, Charles, anyway. She thinks it's Ned Flanders. No, Ned Sanders.
She thinks it's a demon.
Yeah.
I also thought he said that her fake name was her name for her new name for him was Nick Schneider.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So,
or Ned Schneider.
Mick, because the police thought he was saying Mick. It was a whole thing. So Nick Schneider has not his name. Charles Vallow has Vallow. He has been telling folk for a while now that something is up with his wife, that she has this godlike complex, and that things are kind of nutty. And no one believes him because, in society, we are trained to believe the women, especially a beautiful blonde woman who's smiling at you and telling you everything is okay. There is no urgency to like check out both stories and figure things out. Domestic violence stuff is real messy. And so I imagine cops just don't want to, even though they're supposed to do it, they probably don't want to get involved in it unless they truly have to, unless they see and feel imminent danger.
Mm-hmm.
But Lori's presented as a very well-rounded, like rational individual, even though she's like slowly descending into a world where she believes that she is like an alien interdimensional and can like see spirits and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the daughter ends up telling her recount of the story. But again, she's 16 and she's traumatized. Her father has just been shot and killed by her uncle. And, her mother's acting like everything is okay. Especially telling her that, her father was a cheater and like, they're very religious. So who knows what Tylee is allowed to feel and or feeling at this time. We find out that Lori then a few days later goes in to take the life insurance and she still thought that she was the beneficiary. This is hilarious, is that she'd been fighting with her husband and she'd like sabotaged and took all his clothes and shit. And she thought that he wasn't just going to go and change the beneficiary.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. You're a crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $1 million policy.
Yeah.
And her sister ended up getting it. No, his sister did.
Yeah. She did not like keep her ducks in a row in that one. I think that she thinks she's like so smart with like being able to use all the Jesus stuff to pretty much like have like insurance fraud and just like be able to live with whoever she wants to live with and like whatever, just have a bunch of money for both of them. Because as we see, like they just love one plan and try and do it over and over again. God bless. But so it's crazy that it's crazy what she thought of in every situation. But like, it's one of those things with like crazy narcissists where you're like, how do you think you're going to get away with that? But they did. They took certain chances and then just, I think, were like, no, turn a blind eye to that one. And she has a remarkable way of flirting and charming her way out of like authority and or police situations by just sort of feigning like a sort of like casualness, a sort of just like lighthearted casualness. And can you believe my situation? My husband's dead. No, it's just like so crazy that this is happening on a Tuesday.
It's just wild. It's wild. So she then calls her son, Colby, and tells Colby that his father has died of a heart attack. Now, this is not his real father, but this is the man who's raised him for the majority of his childhood.
Yeah.
And so tells him that he had a heart attack. So he's like freaking out.
Yeah.
And I think Lori just like didn't understand the impact that would have on her son. Like she just didn't really truly understand the relationship between, I think, father and son or parent and child. Like she's in a place now where she's not even worried about this life. She's worried about the next and how to get there and be a part of the 144K that herald in the new world or whatever.
I feel so bad because it's like she also then texts Charles's sons,
biological sons,
text being like, hey guys, here's some bad news. Your dad's dead.
Sad news.
Dad's dead. We'll text later. Bye. And they have to text her and be like, what? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. How? Why is he dead? And just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get some things loosened, like some loose ends, just like figured out here, and I'll get back to you.
And then 3 hours later, they're like still texting her. They're like, Lori, this is fucking bullshit. It's been 3 hours. Tell us what's happening with our dad.
You're there.
And she's like, I'm so sorry. It's been crazy. It's like, no. I'm sure that they are calling her in between. It's not like they're just texting back and forth.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out ways to get to do whatever to get there. It's through hell and high water. And then she doesn't want to tell them that my brother shot him. Ha ha. Like, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So shortly after this happens, Colby comes over and finds out the truth that he actually died of being shot by his uncle. And he's like, why the hell would you lie to me about how he died? Why would you tell me over the phone it was a heart attack? And then in person tell me that my uncle killed him.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy. So Tylee and Lori leave.
Up and out, honey. Up and out.
She takes JJ too. And then Janice, the grandmother, is having a hard time getting a hold of Tylee. So like Tylee's like texting her brother sometimes, and he has one last conversation with her. The grandmother has one last conversation with Tylee, and then all of a sudden they don't hear back from Tylee, but everyone's kind of like, well, she's with her mother. Her mother keeps saying she's safe, and she's responding via text. So they don't think that anything is like up yet. They just think maybe she's grieving. Maybe she just doesn't know what to do. And so then we hear this like soundbite from her podcast, Through the Fire. Is that what it's called? Helen living
Walk through fire. No,
walk something.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling the fire. Feel the fire.
Feel the fire.
Feel the fire. Okay, anyways, I keep making that joke. Anyways, so she's talking on this podcast and she's like, I have been fighting a war for millennia. This is one of many lives I've had, and that's why I'm fighting here on earth for the souls of those around me.
Yeah, it's like, whatever it is, she feels so much better being holier than thou, not only being the ones that will be alive come, the next half of next year, because it's all supposed to end in June of 2022.
I don't know.
Or June of 2020?
June of 2022, yeah.
Or it's June of 2020. I forgot which one it was. But
2022.
Okay, well, thank God, guys. Here it is. It hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every once in a while, it's like, oh, this is when Nostradamus said the end of the world was going to happen, or Y2K, this is the end of the world, or like, it's always supposed to happen already, So I don't know why people don't read a book or don't know, but God bless. It's just hard to be taken by something. But yeah, that's what Colby said. It's like, belief will bring you everywhere. So she also... they found emails that Charles had sent where Charles was still alive, and he had gotten to Colby and Colby's wife and been like, you guys, you're like, the mom's crazy, like your mom's like crazy, like we look at this, like she's been like, she has this email sent to her by Chad where her family is categorized as being like some are dark and some are like chill and some are like really bad, and like you're chill, meaning Colby, but I mean I'm really bad and Tylee's really bad.
So by Chad we mean the gentleman that she has met later on. This is her fifth husband, because Charles was her fourth, but we don't know in the timeline of things that she's actually married Chad. Right now she's just like a believer of Chad and like working with him with the demons. And so this list is a list of all the people in Lori's life that have dark spirit. There are light spirits and there's dark spirits. And certain people, like her son, are like an 11L, which means that they're an 11 light spirit. So Colby's 11L.
A lot, real good.
And the daughter Tylee is like 4D, dark spirit. JJ is like whatever, a dark spirit. And has autism and he's like 8.
Yeah.
And then Tylee's 16. And then her ex-husband Charles, or her deceased husband, her widower husband. No, not widower. She's a widow. So the husband who's just died is like a certain number. D dark. And so it's just like all of a sudden Colby's starting to see that maybe Charles wasn't crazy. Maybe Charles didn't cheat. Maybe the mother is the problem. And that, coupled with the fact that Tylee's being weird, is what launches him and his wife into looking this up and seeing what's going on. So he reaches out to his mother and he's like, what is going on? Where's Tylee? Oh, Tylee's fine. And then all of a sudden grandmother wants to know, where's Tylee? Oh, Tylee's fine. And it's like, because the one child who is a teenager who used to be able to speak to everybody, like, is no longer speaking to them. So, I mean, she really does feel like the end is near. And we meet a very colorful character. Mm-hmm. Her name is Julie. Mm-hmm. Julie is a person with extra sensory spiritual abilities.
The same as everyone, like she's an author that's on the same publishing platform that Chad does, but it's another like offshoot of a Mormon who thinks that it's apocalyptic life, but and she just knows more than other people, and that's what it is. So
she's like, yeah, I know you guys think I sound crazy, but Chad is actually crazy. Like,
yeah,
he believes that he is going to usher in the new world, and like Jerusalem is going to be in like Rexford, Idaho. Yeah. But I know that was the devil whispering, because when you're like an extrasensory being, you have like a lot of voices in your head, and you need to be able to discern which one is the devil and which one is not. And I am listening to the angel. I'm not listening to the devil. Chad was listening to the devil. And when I realized that that's what was going on, I was like, this is weird. And she also was told by Chad that she had a vision. She had a vision that Chad told her that he had a vision of Tammy's death. Tammy is Chad's wife. the mother of his 5 children, who we never hear about. We only see them in pictures, so they must have approved for their faces to be shown. Maybe they had interviews and it got scrapped. Who knows?
It's just like, it's so interesting because like, if Chad, why would you say that? Like, it seems so like, awkward, because when she dies, which obviously you wish that she would die, Tammy, your wife, and the mother of your children, that like you basically just like dated and then just like married the woman that you like dated once, and like because you're like a crazy religious person, and then like didn't have time to like explore yourself. Anyway, God bless. Poor Tammy. So then like, why would you tell this girl that could happen? Because then when it happens, it's going to point at you. But he's such a narcissist. He's like, I'll tell her that it's going to happen. That way, when it happens, she just thinks that I'm extra special, extra intuitive, extra blessed, extra pious.
Meanwhile, someone has shot at his wife.
Yeah.
She escapes it and thinks that it's some like idiot with a BB gun. But no, it's somebody who we think is Alex, which is basically Lori's assassin. So Lori has like got her brother doing all kinds of dirty deeds, like at this point. And it's not talked about in the show, but our special guest, Kate Casey, stated that she believed, or she had gotten accounts from the forensic psychologist who was featured on the show, that there was and might have been a sexual abuse between Lori and her father, which kind of leads to the fact that there were some boundaries that were stepped over between her and her brother Alex. So a lot of family secrets, because the grandmother Janice is insisting that they had a perfect family.
Perfect, honey. Nothing's ever happened in my family.
Even though her 2 middle children got in a cult, the same cult, and she thinks that like she doesn't understand how this could possibly happen to her family, which is like crazy delusional.
Yeah. So basically, okay. So remember, JJ was Charles's nephew's son, that Charles at the time, who was alive, adopted with Lori. So Lori taking JJ at this point is like, also it has JJ's actual grandparents on his side, okay, that are like not necessarily on her side. They're like, they don't have anything, she's not kin. In fact, Charles is dead.
Yeah. So why does Lori have this child that was given to Charles and Lori because they're younger? But that's his, Charles, that's Charles's nephew's son. So that is his sister's grandchild.
Yeah.
And so when he dies, this sister, who is the beneficiary, is like, where is my grandson?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard from him. I talked to him for 36 seconds a month ago, and now he's not here anymore. Like, why am I not seeing him? So suspicions have been now brought up.
Yeah. At this time, Chad also then tells 2 people to get married. Like people are starting to like pair off and get married. Alex gets married to her. What was
Zulema?
Her name? Zulema. Yes.
She's a part of the podcast.
Feed the fire, honey. So they all moved to Rexford, which of course is like Chad's favorite place. But listen, I love Idaho too. It is gorgeous, God's country. So I kind of get it. But at this time,
no, take that back. Let me tell you why I take that back. Because the people of the Middle East are God's country. Listen, if you think that for whatever reason that the 144K are going to be Americans, or even one of it is bananas.
I don't think it's going to happen. Juan.
The Bible is from the Middle East.
I mean, listen, totally. I don't know, but like none of it's true. So like,
But even if it was true, like, let's make it make sense.
Why?
Okay.
Fools do not deserve the compliment of rational opposition. So anyway, let me tell you. So JJ's grandparents are like, what's happening? Where is JJ? And like, we haven't heard from him. We haven't talked to him. We haven't FaceTimed him. It's been like months. And here's like Lori's dumb. Just anyway, God bless. So they like try to talk to Lori, and then like she's kind of being whatever. Like Kobe's trying to talk to Lori about talking to Tilly or whatever, Tylee, like whatever her name. I love.
Do you want me to tell the story?
No, and like just Lori's not talking, and then so they call and do a wellness check, and they get the cops to do it. And the cops like knocking, nuke, and then on Lori and like Chad's door, and like also at this time they found one other thing that like Charles had like I guess or from Charles's Amazon account, like a ring had been bought and then sent to guess where, this Rexford, Idaho, I like a place. And so the cops like go and like see what's happening, and they see Chad's there, and this Rexford, Iowa place is like Idaho is like a complex, different apartments. And guess who lives there? It's Alex with his like new boo-boo and like, you know, whatever the niece is that married, you know, some other dude. And then Chad, you know, Al Daybell, and then Lori, right? And Valo. And it's like a 1-bedroom each. So it's like, who else would live here? So wait, God bless. So then they call Chad, like, hey, Chad, like, hey, where's JJ? And Chad's like, no, yeah, like, no, he's like in Louisiana. And like, no, he's not in Louisiana. Like, that the reason why we're here is because it's Louisiana people like don't know where he is. He's like, oh yeah, not Louisiana. He's like, maybe with his mom. And so they're like, okay, where's his mom? He's like, in the next apartment. So then he goes like, by the way, I don't even know her. You like don't even know this person. I'm like, haha. And Alex like, okay. And so then he goes and they go and talk to her, and she's like, oh, my son, yeah. I know. It's like he's with Melanie Gibbs. I love Melanie Gibbs from Arizona. Yeah, he's with Melanie, hanging out with Melody. And so the cops are like, oh, we're gonna go check that out. She's like, yeah, go check it out, you know. So then she calls Melody. She's like, Melody, hey girl, hey. So here's the thing: the pogo's gonna call you, and
don't answer.
You don't even answer yet. It's like you're like, whoop, you know, just like was on the other line, you know, whatever. Just like pretend you just like thought it was like unknown junk mail, you know, whatever. It's like you don't answer for like unknown numbers, God bless. And then like if they ever ask about like my kid, it's like don't even worry about it. Melody's like, what? Come again? Melody's not into it or whatever. And so the police have to go back and forth, and they're just always so nice to her on the phone. Like even like these phone calls where she's like, oh, they literally call her and she's like, oh, is that what Melanie said? Oh, well then it's like, that's weird. Oh, what a weird day I'm having, you know, like I just came out of Pilates. Can I call you right back?
Yeah. I mean, like then we find out that Lori and Chad have gotten married. And Colby tells his grandmother, Janice, oh my God, did you know that they got married? And Janice says, well, I mean, at least we didn't have to give him a present. I'm sorry, your son-in-law is shot by your son.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that a month later, your daughter has married somebody else. Not even a month, maybe like 2 months. Has married some other man that you have no idea who that person is.
And Tammy was killed?
Yeah.
Do you talk about Tammy being killed, actually?
No, but he doesn't know. They don't know Chad.
No one knows anything, but yeah, but so then Chad, so this is crazy. So then after Tammy almost got killed, guess what? She got killed.
She ends up dying of like natural causes or something.
She had a 50-year-old natural causes thing, which I guess also Alex... Wait, were you to the part?
No, what happens is like they just don't... Wherever these people are, when folks die, they don't do any research into it. They just like, oh, this person died, and they just bury them. It's like a crazy thing. They had to end up exhuming her body to even figure out that
it is like organ trail. Like what is happening? Like there's not enough supplies to find out why these people are dying. Like dead. Like everyone keeps dying like within a month of each other, and no one's like seems weird.
Yeah.
Like and here's the thing. Like give me one other piece of information. Like tell me there was some drug paraphernalia around. Like give me something that like someone tried to cover something, or there might, to make me think that there was not one question asked. Like these cops every turn act like dum 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 dum. Hey guys, what's happening here? I'm a murder detective, but I'll tell you right now, I'm having a great day. You know, like what? I don't understand. Like, what world is this?
The cops even recognize Chad when they go to this apartment complex, and they go, "Hey, you're Chad Daybell, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Didn't your wife just die?" Because Rexford, Idaho is tiny. Not big. They're like, "Didn't your wife just die?" And he's like, "Yeah, she did. It's crazy." And they just like, it's not weird that he's like here with these folks whose child is missing. And so then Chad and Lori disappear. Yeah. They disappear. And then when that happens, Alex, who's married to Zulema, who is Lori's brother, like ends up getting really nervous. And Zulema's like, "Why are you so nervous?" And he's like, "I think I'm their fall guy."
What are you talking about? Tell me more.
Tell me more. This man dies like a week later of some kind of like hereditary familial
pulmonary issue. Even the mom's like, "Yeah, he had that, so that could have been it." Like, it's like
your
denial.
Son-in-law dies.
Yeah,
your grandchildren are missing, and then your son dies.
It is beyond. I mean, like, I love it and I hate it. Like, I'll tell you this right now. First of all, she loves Kauai. Like, I get it too. It's my favorite island. And like, then her son realizes that she got married. He's like so pissed. He's like, you got married in our special island, but she loves, like, she was with Charles there and she like went back. She's like, I'll show you paradise. It's Kauai. Would you get married in Kauai? This outfit looks like you would.
I've never been to Hawaii, but I have mixed feelings about like mainlanders going to like the island and like fucking shit up for the Hawaiians. Sorry, I had to say it. Sorry. But yeah, like just like she decides to go back to Kauai for like her perfect like time, and
she wears white.
People are looking for her and Chad because they cannot find her kids, and she just disappears. And then like some social media person who's like in a, like the word gets out on the world, right? And like someone who's like in an airport like sees Chad and Lori and video records it, and it's like, we found her. I'm just like, I move about the space not making eye contact and just minding my own business. Like, I would have never found them. They could have been sitting right next to me and I just would have looked up and just seen them and just went about my business. Like,
I just assumed that was press. First of all, I can't believe that she wore white because she was married like 74 times. But yeah, like, I thought that was just like the press being like, excuse me, Lori, no one can find your kids and you're just like hanging out in Kauai. Like, give us a statement. And she's just like, her hair is like the morning after, like her like perfectly coiled wedding hair, perfectly coiled wedding hair. And she is just like, doesn't understand that there's going to be consequences. So the cops just like pull her over and they're like, okay, well, you're going to have to go ahead and produce your child by Thursday.
They give her to 24. Thursday.
Yeah, she's like, and she's in Hawaii again. So it's like, so wherever they are, you know, and so she's like, okay. And then guess what? Thursday comes and go. I don't know what she does for 24 hours. She's like, gets like a massage. I mean, she's in Kauai. She just has a bunch of juices. I love Kauai. Like, she like lays out. I mean, she gets drunk on Mai Tais. I mean, I don't know what she does for 24 hours, but she knows she cannot produce that kid, honey. And so like, and everyone's just like waiting around. Like, Kobe knows what's happening. And like, at this point, I know what's happening. Chrissy Farah, am 5 hours away in California, and I am now privy to this information. I know this information is happening in real time.
Yeah, I didn't know that anything like this was happening, but it's just like bananas that this woman is like a cult woman who's like children are missing, and she has not a care in the world about them, and she just keeps telling everybody that they're fine. And I don't know what their long-term plan was. I don't know what they thought how they were going to get rid of it, because the story actually is still unfolding. So that's the end of episode 2. It is wild.
Mm-hmm.
They give us so much information in the first 33 minutes, and not all of the information that we require. But then they like in this second episode, like just people start to die left and right. And then this
dysentery, honey, thyroid, you know, there's like an ox eats one. I mean, like, you know, and there's just like, it's just harsh out there. So no one asks any questions, I guess.
I don't know. It's 2019 at this point. People are asking questions.
Not in Idaho.
Oh my
Not
God.
In the, like, this is Arizona to Idaho. I guess you ask no questions.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, it's just their audacity. They're just going to be in Kauai and like, yeah. I think the last moment is they get, of course, Thursday comes, they just get extradited back to Idaho. Like, what do you think was going to happen?
Yeah. They're like, oh no, they're fine. I guess they're just like this. The time on this earth is
limited.
And
so they can afford the Kauai trip. They're like, they probably stayed like the best possible spot. They're probably putting everything on credit cards, being like, I'm never gonna have to pay it back. It's like they're gonna kill it. Like American Express will be done.
Yeah.
You know, like, anyway, so. Listen, guys, we only have one more episode of this thrilling docuseries left, and then we're going to move on to hopefully healthier pastures. Probably not, though.
Yeah. I feel like the next one we're going to do is Hostages. It's on HBO.
We have options.
Doesn't sound healthy.
If you have any options for us, please give us a call. And by call...
At 666. 666.
DocuSweeties.
DocuSweeties.
Or probably just email us, docusweeties@gmail.com. Or you can, of course, get to us on Instagram. We're DocuSweeties on Instagram, DocuSweeties1 on TikTok and Twitter. And this whole time we've been giving you face. Now, Wall looks like she's about to fall asleep in that hand,
I'm
honey.
not going to.
No, she's not. But
I'm
if you
awake.
wanted to see her face, how would you do it?
You don't want to see this face.
Why would you do it? Wow.
Patreon.com/DocuSweeties. Patreon.com/DocuSweeties. For $10 a month, you could see the visuals of what you were hearing unedited. Yeah. And normally we have pictures. And so you could see that. You can see that I need to do my hair. I need to wash it, which, I will. And you can see that I'm drinking a little wine.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we love you guys so much. So we hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you haven't yet, review your girls. Give us 5 stars and share us with a friend. And have a good one, okay?
Bye.